All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a triple header of DAS League gameplay in Division 2. We have a few matches here. Starting us off with IanKeith versus Weisbrot. Then followed by IanKeith versus Jedi Evan. And finishing us off with Weisbrot versus Username Gold. And we have our players, so we can go on over. There they are. Yeah, the stinger is still Stack Fox, but I can't be bothered to remove it. Is it a fox or a cat? It's Fox. Stack Fox. Hello, Weisbrot. No worries. I give you guys a seed. There you go. 4 Alpha, 4 Niner, Delta Bravo. Yeah, they stopped making pennies. Yeah, the real Ian Upstarts champion and tag team champion, Keith. Pennies going up in value. Somalian. Does that make you the most Ian of Ians? Also a reminder to the players that you do need Hertz display and input display on just in case you haven't turned it on. Your cat just woke up and got off your parents' bed for the first time today. It is 1 p.m. Dang. What are you, like on the east coast of the US? At 1 p.m. time. Average cat though. They like getting up late. Main based. Yes, we have the seed being put in. Oh, can't do that. I was like, do I have more room at the top of the camera for voice route? No. Okay. think you're mega behind. Gotcha. Coffee time? Yo, make me one. Can I have a coffee? Can you just, like, ship it over, Hana? As we do have both our players ready for game number 1, so we can count it down in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. How sweet do I like mine? Put, like... Put, like, a, I don't know how to describe it. Pretty sweet. I want it to look like a latte. Pretty much. Caramel color? Yeah, that's about where I like mine. A nice light caramel. That's like exactly the same way I like my coffee. Any black coffee drinkers in the chat? My dad drank coffee like that. Would just make a pot, pour a cup, and drink it. I don't know how. Marfram likes black coffee? Oh. Interesting. But she had to train to do it. Yeah, it definitely is like an acquired taste, coffee. As we do have Tetris going on in the midst of the coffee talk. And it is Ian with the slight lead early. About a Tetris, just off the back of a few unfortunate pieces for Weisbrot, causing some burns to be taken. But it's only a Tetris, and we're only 30 lines through, which means it is a very volatile lead. Both players finding their groove now. Although Weisbrot having to do a bit of board management here in the square. Not very friendly. Neither is the bar. But that bar is. We'll get the board down to a much better position. We'll reopen the right. And score a Tetris 225 for Weisbrot at 61 lines. 303 for Ian at 61 lines. So about a 3 Tetris lead for Ian. 77,000 points being the difference between our players. As Ian with a nice series of tucks there. We'll open up the right with a skim and get the Tetris. And both will find another, so both players back to clean stacking boards. With the occasional burn in it or two. Just because this is DAS. Players cannot freely get pieces wherever they want, whenever they want. Simul Tetris for the players. 423 for Ian. 344 for Weisbrot. And an early shift that will cause some burning to be taken, but a nice flat bar there will resolve it in the least amount of burns possible. Now Weisbrot having to cover the well, and 2 bars show up, unable to use either of them. A third will arrive, and we'll be able to use it for a Tetris there, as Ian passed the 100 line mark at 492. Weisbrot 373, 1 line behind the 100 line mark. We'll go to the 100 line mark at 373, as both players experiencing a drought. The bar does show for Weisbrot, but it's unable to be used. Bar will be used for a Tetris for Ian. As Weisbrot will get the bar to the left, will reopen the right and take this bar for a Tetris. A much needed one at that, as this lead is over 100,000 points now. 566 for Ian, 429 for Weisbrot. Will score a Tetris to go to 452. And yeah, Ian has just been playing clean Tetris. We'll be looking for this 600. We'll already be there with 1 Tetris left before the transition, as both players are 2 lines away. Ian will burn one of those. Weisbrot will double in at 477. Waiting on this bar, and the bar just not showing up for Weisbrot, which means Ian will also double in at 616. And it's now on the 19 speeds. The bar will show for Ian. Will only be worth a triple. Will be a Tetris for Weisbrot, but 100,000 points. 630 for Ian. 516 for Weisbrot. As a Tetris for Ian to go to 655. He's having to do some cleanup. We'll get the board reopened on the right. Perfect bar timing. Tetris down the right. 548 for Weisbrot. Ian set up. Tetris down the right. 686 for Ian. As some more cleanup required from Weisbrot. The bar goes left. Nice quick tap of the bar again to keep this board manageable. Unfortunately, can't use any of these for Tetrises, as Ian will score 1 to go to 750. Weisbrot still at 563, just unable to use these bars. Gets to the Z-spin. The bar will show up for a Tetris for Weisbrot to go to 596, as Ian, holding out for the bar, takes a double. Bar shows Tetris for Ian, 785 into level 24, 628 for Weisbrot, so 150,000 points separating the players. Tetris for Weisbrot, 658 now, 817 for Ian. Is set up. PX. Thank you for the 100. I forgot you were gonna do that. Thank you for the 100 bits. 833 for Ian, as a little bit of cleanup required from both players. 699 for Weisbrot, as we start to approach the level 29 kill screen. Tetris for Ian, on no DAS for Weisbrot. Can't get the bar to the left. Loses DAS again in the middle. Bar shows up, gets it over, but what more can be done? As Ian also holding out for this bar. 936, gets the tuck, gets the L to the right for the setup. Bar down the right, 971 for Ian. Looking to start this set off with a bang. The piece is starting to sour. Weisbrot will throw in the towel. The bar comes for the max out for Ian. Sold the board to High Hal and back for it, but does get the max. How far will it be pushed? The answer is... sets up for one more. Oh, can't get the bar! GG. Ian starting it off strong with a max. Unable to get that bar to the right for the dirty Tetris on the kill screen. But will be well and truly good. You take your coffee just with almond milk? Based? You get hazelnut coffee? Ooh. I usually get French vanilla. Although sometimes if I'm feeling adventurous, I'll get like a caramel. Yeah. Gotta love being lactose intolerant. Also, now that the game is over, thank you, PX, for the 100 bits. If you don't know who PX is, she is the one who has made this entire scene. So, very, very big shout out to PX for all the work that she does for not just this scene, but also for the Trombone Champ community. Does most of the, not most, all of the graphics for every tournament over there. As we do have 2 readies on the board, which means we can count down game number 2 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. As Ian starting off the game with 11 pushdown points, like usual. Doing the Ian thing. It does 2 things simultaneously. It stops you from ever club zeroing, ever, and it stops a tie, ever. You will never tie with someone unless they also push down the first piece. But I think the prospect of never joining Club Zero is higher than the likelihood of a tie. As ties are extremely rare in Tetris. Not impossible though, as they have happened multiple times in the past. I wonder, has a tie ever happened at a live event? As these players are practically tied, being separated just by the 11 pushdown points that Ian garnered from the first piece. But Ian now having some complications on the board. Would love a bar, and the bar does show. And we'll get another bar down the right for a Tetris. But that will give Weisbrot a singular Tetris lead. But looks more like about half a Tetris. Simul Tetris for the players into 66 line territory. 295 for Ian, 310 for Weisbrot. Bit of an early shift for Weisbrot will cause a bit of slowdown. Very minor though. As Ian having to do some digging, so both players respectively unable to score Tetrises for the time being. Ian will get out of his situation first as double bar dependent on the side of Weisbrot. Will get one bar. And we'll resolve the board now, reopen the right, and put a bar down for the Tetris to go to 412,000 points at 96 lines. Tetris for Ian into the 100 line mark at 404,000. So it is that Tetris lead for Weisbrot staying throughout the entirety of this 18 game. But now we approach the 19 portion of it. $506,000 points for Weisbrot at 115, 496 for Ian at 117. So that 10,000 point lead when Ian is ahead by a Tetris. There's now a bit of burning on the side of Weisbrot. Will close that gap. As Ian 3 lines away, looking to go in with a Tetris. Will take the double, as Weisbrot will go in at 559. Ian will single in at 546. And immediately a Tetris on the side of Weisbrot. So a closer game this time around into the 19 speeds. With the seed very early troubles on the 19. Both players get the bar though for the Tetris. And another on the side of Weisbrot. 636 for Weisbrot, 580 for IanKeith. Ian just taking the triple with the bar. Did not want to set up for the Tetris. Thought it was too aggressive, and now will be center welling. Waiting for the bar. There it is. Tetris for Ian. And we'll continue the center well. Doesn't get the L to the left, though, and now this is trouble. Gets the quick tap over, though. But now needs something else left. The bar, not the greatest. The pieces not giving what he wanted, and Ian will top out at 647. Weisbrot at 733 will be already good for game number 2 and tie us up 1-1. GG. Yeah, this is a very good game from Weisbrot. Well, was a good game. Will immediately top out as I say that. I'm going to assume that's comp max before, or comp 1.1 before comp max. Because you have a 1.2 in the bot. Oh. No worries. Alright, we do have both our players ready. Which does mean that we can count down game number 3 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And it looks like the capture froze again. Because I see Weisbrot's hands moving, but I do not see anything on the screen other than the ready and level selection. So both players, if we could top out and just redo this one. Go ahead and top on out Ethan. Ethan? Why did I just call Ian Ethan? Huh? IanKeith, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and top out the game, Weisbrot. and just increment the seed and we'll redo the game. Surely it's fine now, right? Surely. Hello, Colin. Welcome in. First time chat. That's surprising. Yeah. That's actually surprising, as we do have both our players ready for the redo of game number 3. So we can count it down in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Oh, well, come on in. You are just in time for the redo of game number 3 in this best of 5 set for DAS League Division 2 between IanKeith and Weisbrot. And we have some more DAS League Division 2 action following this set. As Ian will do the Ian thing and push down for 12 points. Am I using Evesy's calculator? No. It is my own calculator. Ian's board starting to climb. That's not good. Well, Ian's dead at 94,000. Weisbrot at 117 is good for game number 3. Just got spammed with squares when there was nowhere for them to go. And we'll be done. So Weisbrot, you are good for game number 3. And put yourself on match point. The old OBS not working gambit. How does it work? Well, I'm glad you asked. It takes a picture of my screen in a very specific spot where the scores are every about second, half a second maybe, and does some image matching with some previous scores that we've calibrated it to, and outputs the score to a text file. And then the text file is read by the OSU tournament client, and the bar at the bottom shows. So if I run the script and then like put itself in its way, it'll like read a million. But yeah, so it's taking a picture of the scores and just outputting them to a readable format that the OSU tournament client can read, and the OSU tournament client is going, these two numbers are different, here's the difference, and showing it on the screen. As we do have both our players ready for game number 4, so we can count that down in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. I'm also going to give Ian a refresh, because I do believe he is a bit behind. Yes. Was a bit behind. as I refreshed and 20 pieces spawned on his stack. Oh, undershift for Weisbrot. Can still snake some pieces in there to make it not as horrible of a misdrop. But it will be a bit of a slowdown nonetheless, and will require burning. As Ian doing a bit of burning himself, but much faster and easier than what Weisbrot has to do. But Weisbrot will be out of the situation there, as both players now will set up for a Tetris and wait for the bar. The bar shows for both. And it's an early 2 Tetris lead for Ian. As Ian with the square tuck setup will just L spin instead, as the square did not want to show up. And will get the Tetris to go to 190,000 points. Weisbrot at 156. Thousand points, excuse me. At 45 lines, so it is that 50,000 point lead. Still in the hands of Ian. Just off the back of the opening burns that were required to be taken from Weisbrot as a bit of slowdown. As some unfortunate pieces does get beautiful pieces for the somewhat pit of doom in the middle of the stack. We'll reopen the right now. We'll just love a bar. There it is, bar down the right. Tetris for Weisbrot to go to 210 at 62. Ian 284, so 70,000 points in the lead, which we saw this in game 1. We saw the 70,000 point lead in game 1 for Ian, and it was non-recoverable for Weisbrot. So we'll have to see if it's different this time around. As Weisbrot running into some slowdown once again, would love a bar. And we'll get out of the situation. 295 now for Weisbrot at 89 lines. 409 for Ian at 92. So 100,000 points in the lead for Ian as we start to approach the transition point into the level 19. $481,000 points for Ian. Tetris for Weisbrot to go to 389. As a bit of tuck setup not going the way of Weisbrot. Would love a T, would perfect clear this. The bar does the same. And we'll take a few burns. Weisbrot looking to go into the level 19 speed with A mid 400 doesn't hit the T-spin though. We'll have to take a few more burns. As Ian looking for another 600k here. Has one Tetris remaining. We'll get it. Is it enough? No! 599! Into level 19. We'll get the 600 there with a single. As Weisbrot one line away. We'll set up for the Tetris. We'll get it 452, so almost 200,000 points. About 150,000 real time for Ian. Which is an even bigger lead than game one. As the suffering does not end for Weisbrot, running into some more slowdown, but Ian also running into very similar conditions. Does set up an LJ dependency. We'll just make the board safe. And take the burns. Tetris down the right. 670 for Ian. 469 for Weisbrot. Now they are a level apart. But with the burns that Weisbrot has to do, just unable to capitalize on this line gap. Is set up for the Tetris now. We'll get it. Tetris for Weisbrot. 509, but 200,000 points behind. 734 for Ian. Who is continuing to find some slowdown. So this will give Weisbrot an opportunity to start to close this gap, start to put on the pressure of that line lead. But Ian out of it, and some missed drops for Weisbrot. Can anything get to the left? The answer is no. The pressure was put on Weisbrot, and it will be too much to handle. As we will go to a Game 5 decider. As Ian with this 200,000 point lead will take game number 4. Feel free to finish it out. Doesn't hit the spin. The T-spin of kinds. Names unknown to me. Doesn't get the L to the left. Is going to try and set up here. No, we'll just opt to burn it down. Gets some lines on the kill screen, but 914 will be the top out score. And it will be well and good for game number 4 as we tie it all up 2-2. You wanted to set up for 30 once. You knew you couldn't max, then did it as stupidly as possible. GG's to the players as we get ready for game number 5. The one that decides who will take this set. And we'll count it down in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. I like that little rhyme that I did with game number 5. I think I'll keep that. As the IanKeith thing for Ian. Now you see why GD likes doing them? Yeah. But you gotta be original, you can't just copy GD. But yeah, don't steal his sound bites, but you can be inspired, yeah. There's been a few times where, like, I've just been speaking and almost said it because, you know, even though you don't remember them, you've heard them. So your brain just goes, oh, you should say this because it works. As Weisbrot with this very annoying dependency, this could be an early end to game number 5, and it will be. The spam of S's and Z's with nowhere for them to go will be the top out for Weisbrot. And an unfortunate end to game number 5 as Ian will take it and win 3-2. Brutal last seed. GG's. As your winner for this set is Ian. As we now set up for the next match, IanKeith versus Jedi Evan. The times that on the screen are like placeholder times. Why is that? What?